Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguణarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namam. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Utpatti Prakarana, section 93. Topic at this stage is giving a general view of bondage to release. Every soul faces these two fingers, one bondage, another is release. And behind all the bondage and release is a play of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And when you are completely attained release, the gunas simply disappear. So let me just give you very condensed outline, but do not get confused with all the details. Because three gunas, soul involved with three gunas. How many types of souls? Countless souls. So don't go after counting them. It's just like asking how many reflections are there of the sun. So, and all these countless souls, their predicaments are defined by gunas, three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Everyone has all the three gunas, but the gunas are in different combinations and permutations. Go into mathematics. Think of three, just number three, 1, 2, 3. Put them in permutation, combination, and there will be no limit. But some basic highlights are presented, and I will just give you, which I have already reiterating some of those points. First one is called Idam Prathamata. Souls that have already evolved to a very high level through many embodiments, and now has come to the last embodiment. Absolutely last. That has been the ideal of Hindu scriptures that's represented in the Bhagavad Puran. Kunti offers prayer to Lord Krishna. He says, "You have given me trouble after trouble. Don't stop giving me trouble. Because through troubles I have turned my mind to you. Because I do not want to see this world process ever again. Punarbhava darshanam. No coming back again." That's the goal of life. How to live your life in such a way that you can say goodbye forever to all that is the world. And what is that world? described in 3 levels, bhur, bhuva, swa. The world you experience through your senses, the world you experience through your feelings, the world you experience through your flutterings of the intellect. All that's the world. And not to enter into this world ever again. In other words, not to pure consciousness, that's what you are. Presently, this pure consciousness is being restricted by intellect, ego, mind, and senses. Your awareness is not just pure, it's coming through your, it breaks down into the level of your intellect, where you bring about so many ideas, thoughts, data you pick up. Then it breaks down in the form of your feelings. And it breaks down in the form of your actions. All these are not the reality. They are like dream experience. The reality is beyond all that. You have a little bit of that experience when you go to sleep. You are not working with your intellect. You are not working with your mind, not working with your senses. The 3 lokas are moved away, but not completely. You are under the grip of your unconscious. Nevertheless, you have come very close. If +4 is the goal, you have come to -4. 4 is the same, so you can exactly know what it is. Second class, or Guna Pivari, they will attain liberation in 10 or 15 embodiments. What Gita calls Dakshinayana, southern path. They have done good karmas, but their mind has not switched to moksha. It has stayed fascinated by swarga, heaven. So it will take more purushartha, more self-effort. And your self-effort is not limited in one life, it flows on from life to life. Third one is called sattva. Those who turn to increasing sattva as they go through their life of pleasure and pain, they will follow progressive evolution. And maybe in 100 births or so, they will attain liberation. Fourth one is called adham sattva. Adham means sattva in a very low grade. Those in whom sattva continues to wane, instead of enriching yourself with increasing sattva, you are diminishing your sattva, diminishing your goodness. And that those souls will take countless births. Next one is described the atyanta tamas, personality in whom tamas is so powerful that you don't know whether other gunas are there or not. Kumbhakarna was an example of that, atyanta tamas. And that will be the lowest type, and souls will have countless birth and death. Next, Rajasi. Those who have ascended from animal level to human level. They will continue to evolve through good and evil karmas, experiencing heaven and hell. Seventh, Rajas Sattviki. Rajas blends with Sattva. You must always understand, Tamas is inertia, drags you down. Rajas brings distractions in your mind. mind becomes filled with energy. Sattva begins to open the window to light. And all the three are blended in your personality in different degrees. And your spiritual evolution depends upon allowing sattva to overpower rajas and tamas. And then allowing sattva itself to move away. Reach the level of sattva. And then you become a swan, bird, fly away. Give me allegorical language, don't become a bird. Rajas sattviki. In the rajas that you have, instead of dragging you down, helps you to do more asanas, more pranayams, more karma yoga. And so rajas enhances your sattva and gets sublimated in that process. Such a person can attain liberation in this very life if sattva increases, or he moves on after death through a successive stages, doesn't come back. Rajas Rajasi, those in whom rajas goes on creating more rajas. They are born as yakshas and gandharvas. They are described like spirits dwelling in astral plane. And they are always active. They have a lot of energy. But they don't know what to do with it. Simply, they go dancing and creating lots of things. They are very active. The next type, rajas tamasi, in whom rajas is overpowered by tamas. So you are developing, allowing your rajas to be degraded in tamasic state. Rajas means all your energy, your mind brings about plans to misuse your energy. And that type of souls will continue for thousands of births. Next one, rajas atyanta tamasi, go further degraded state. Rajas that is being dragged to extreme inertia. So liberation is doubtful even in thousands of births. Next one is tamasi. Cannot attain liberation in this present cycle called kalpa. Next one is called tamas sattva. Now remember, these stages are not in sequence. So you don't think that first you have to come this, then this, then this. No. They are just being touched upon different combinations of gunas. Tamas sattva. Even though born in a tamasic family, and yet sattva has developed in a person. Early stage, one may act like a demon. But later, touched by sages, saints, a complete change in the demoniac personality. Valmiki himself is an example of that. He started his life as a hunter, as a kind of robber, and without any restriction. Murderer, robber, looter. And then touched by Narada, initiated by Narada into Ram mantra, which he was unable to chant. So he was advised to chant at least the reverse of Rama. Instead of saying Rama, say Mara, because he was always involved with killing. And Mara is that dead. I'm not going to details. That Led by that, Mara, 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 if you do that, it becomes Ram, Ram, Ram. And your mind figures out saying Rama is better than Mara. It's a psychological trick. So that's the example of Tamas Sattva. Another example is Prahlad, born son of Hiranyakashipu, a terrible demon. However, he became a great devotee of God. Next one is called Tamo Rajasurupini. Tamas plays the role of Rajas. Can you figure that out? It's a simple idea. When you are very tired, what you need tamas. So that you can rest, go to sleep. So you begin to utilize tamas for removing your tiredness. And then what happens? You go after sattva. So each time tired, bored, do shavasana, and then start with your shirshasana. Start with your sadhana. So tamas and sattva are mixing up. The tamas looks like passive, but plays a dynamic role. If that happens, one attains liberation fast. The liberation is described here is progressive evolution. You go through a karmic process, ascending higher and higher. And the 14th one is described as tamas tamasi. Tamas in you, leading you to more tamas. Then there is no end to it. Even in million births, it will continue. Now, all these relate to countless souls in the world. So you don't have to go after categorizing who belongs to where. The moral of all that is to understand the role of three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, and utilize every guna for your spiritual advancement. All the three gunas have positive and negative implications. When you are tired, you take a cup of tamas. I'm just joking. Don't figure it out like asking people to drink. Now the reply, rajas, tamas, sattva, all three are needed. If you are going into a project, you need sattva. Not sattva so much, rajas. If you are going to give a talk on meditation and satsanga, you need rajas and sattva. Sattva must inspire you. And so forth, you can figure that out. All gunas are absolutely necessary day by day. You can't rest if you don't have tamas. You can't even digest food if you don't have rajas. And you can't refresh yourself unless you have certain degree of sattva. And all the three gunas relate to everything that you touch, eat, The entire world is described in the terms of three gunas. You have, say, for example, your food is sattvic food, rajasic food, tamasic food. Your association, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Your thinking, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Your worship, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Your knowledge, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Your faith, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. And wisdom lies in understanding the difference, following the sattva, enhancing sattva. Rama asks, if karma is the cause, then how can the births of souls be considered illusory? To simplify the question, this whole teaching is based upon the gunas and their effect. And if gunas and their effect continue, how can a person attain liberation? Sage Vasistha said, your question is indeed praiseworthy. It is the expansion of the mind that has brought about the illusion of karmas. Now it is switching to simple point what Raj Yoga says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. The whole world process is chitta vrittis. Chitta, your mind. Vrittis, thought waves. And chitta and the vrittis, they are not reality. They are described as creation. But understand, to give you a simple plan I had presented before, Brahman is one alone, absolute. His magical power is called Prakriti. Through that magical power, this Prakriti manifests or operates in three ways. Sattva predominating Prakriti is called Maya. Brahman, through that Maya, plays the role of Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, Shiva, the destroyer. Same Brahman, through Rajas predominating Prakriti, Avidya, brings about countless souls that evolve through the creation, jivas. That Rajas predominating Prakriti is called Avidya. And Brahman, through Avidya, expresses in the form of countless jivas, souls evolving in the world. And same Brahman, through Tamas predominating Prakriti, called tamasic Prakriti, manifests as the tanamatras, subtle elements that go to compose all this that the soul needs for its evolution. And what does it need? It needs three planes. The physical plane, the subtle plane, the causal plane. All are fashioned by those subtle elements under the guidance of the divine artist. I'm putting little allegorical term. Those elements, to give you more extension, Tamasi Prakriti has composed. See, they start from 5 subtle elements: ether, air, fire, water, earth. The names are gross names, but they do not refer to gross elements. They go through permutation and combination. And the result is in different, led by those 5 subtle elements, your chitta has been formed. Especially, certain elements are more predominant in your intellect. Another type of element is in your ego. Another type of element is in your chitta. I'm just giving a gross way to understand. But all those elements, subtle elements, have composed your entire mental process. So your intellect that will lead you to liberation is a product of those subtle elements, tanamatras. And the same subtle elements, through permutation combination, become 5 gross elements. The source of gross elements, called panchabhutas, with the same name: ether, air, fire, water, earth. The whole body is fashioned by those panchabhutas. But bhuta is bhut, filled with bhuts. Bhut is ghost. All bodies are materializations of the spirit. And that's the shocking this type of doubt. And that's the reality. People somehow unable to understand that. Your whole awareness of your body operates through just little centers in your brain. So your body is not there, but through the magic of your nervous system, your mind flowing through that nervous system begins to develop that experience: I am the body. Not only I am the body, is the body-based identity says, I'm the body and mind is in me. And here's my mind, is the brain. But it's the other way around. So remember, the same Brahman is operating in 3 planes. He is Ishvara, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, regulating the entire world process, guiding every soul according to its karmas. And same Brahman is expressing through every jiva, every individual soul. But the soul doesn't know, because avidya, ignorance. Ignorance is Brahman through rajas predominating Prakriti. And same Brahman is all things that you touch, experience, including your mind, intellect, etc., tamasi, Prakriti. This should not confuse you too much. Think of your dream. Same you have become in your dream the dream subject, with the mind, with the senses, with the past, present, and future. Same you has become the whole world of that dream. And then it has become all your experiences of pleasure and pain, and all the dreams you hold within your dream. Where it all came from your own awareness, your own consciousness. If that is happening in daily life, why can't you understand the entire world? Experience is brought about by the same type of illusion. The illusion that is now described as cosmic illusion, Maya. And just like you break your illusion in dream and wake up, likewise you have that potential to break the illusion of Maya. And that is the real purpose of every soul. Not a single soul, no matter how drenched the soul may be, how dipped into the muck. It says it exists to attain its realization, I am that. And another point, no matter how miserable a soul may appear to be, the reality behind the soul is ever the same, Brahman. And no matter how multiplicity may be seen in the world, so many, numerous, countless things, and yet the reality is all is nothing but Brahman. Think of your dream. How many things are there? But all that is your own consciousness. And these days, technology has made it simpler to understand. You have the whole world in your iPad. Your finger knows it. How can whole world come through the little iPad? The miracle of energy. The body which appears to be the basis of every action is in itself a materialized form of the mind. It's a materialization of your mind. In surgical process, when your body is rendered insensitive, doctors go through so many things and they go on chatting about it, and you have no idea. And you come to the normal consciousness and say, where am I? What has happened? Did my surgery go well? Look at the mind's magic. So the entire body experience of yours is based on your mind and nervous system. Put it in a more profounder way, your whole body idea, I am the body, is not in the body. There is nothing in the body that can think of and hold that type of knowledge. Body itself is a mental sustained by mind and therefore described as a mental projection. It's an act of vrittis of the mind, thought waves of your mind. But when I'm telling that, it doesn't mean that you can simply shake those thought waves. The thought waves have sustained the world you experience in two forms. Brahmanda, the whole cosmos. Pindanda, this body, put it in different way, macrocosm, microcosm. And all that is based on the mental process, thought waves of the mind. Therefore now, what's needed is a profound understanding of how to work with those thought waves and how to bring about changes in the gunas, tamas, rajas, sattva. And all that is brought to you through satsanga. And when you live it, then it is, all this is made secure by your shraddha, faith. And faith itself is a result of your spiritual movement. You have done good deeds, therefore you develop a type of faith that will not be shaken even in adverse circumstances. But I'm leading you to understand that your life becomes like a tree growing, sahaj. A tree doesn't calculate. Then now is the time to do photosynthesis. Now is the time to bring buds and buds to blossom and all that. Tree doesn't calculate. And yet everything goes on in perfect precision from the very root to everything about the tree. All is perfectly precision, following absolute laws of nature. Similarly, you follow absolute laws of scriptural philosophy without headache, without getting too burdened by it. Sahaj, spontaneous. And the more spontaneous you are, more healthy you are. Actions performed by the mind must give rise to their results. In other words, all karmas and their results, they are dependent upon your mind. Mind is the basis of your bondage and release. Beyond mind, there is no story. One cannot escape the fruits of karma. No matter where he may go, there is not a place, a mountain, a portion of the vast sky, a profound depth in the ocean, or a distant world beyond the Milky Way. If all this becomes possible by more technological advancement, you can't run away from karma. No matter where you go. Since this is the case, an aspirant's effort to attain self-realization can never be fruitless. No matter where you are, you don't have to run around. You begin involve yourself in integral yoga, practice yoga in a perfect way, and that your movement will never be fruitless. What does it imply? Because the fruit of your sadhana is already in your treasury. Self-realization. The self, that is what you want to attain. And that self is already there. So therefore, you are not working for something that's going to frustrate you. On the other hand, all karmic fruits, they are never there. So all the efforts that you go to hold on to karmic fruits, that will lead you to terrible frustration. Frustration after frustration. Since this is the case, an aspirant's efforts to attain self-realization can never be fruitless. When he attains enlightenment, his mind is destroyed. And this results in cessation of all karmas. That to understand now, when we talk of mind is destroyed, that's the Yoga Vasistha explains in detail. There are 3 stages of your mind: Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana. Mala, that creates gross impurities. And when you develop that state of mind, that stays balanced in pleasure and in pain, it doesn't create raga and dvesha. Raga is attachment to things that give you pleasure. Dvesha, hatred towards things that give you pain. The mind is busy constantly handling these 2 points. But the mind that has come to become awakened, like mind has grown up, as it were, not a kid. And it knows that things that seem to be likable or dislikable, they are not realities. So even if you get all things you like in abundance, nothing has happened. If you lose them all, nothing has happened. The illustration is given of the sky, skyline. All the clouds come in, Christmas has started. They're dancing. The sky has nothing to do with it. Figuratively, the sky welcomes it. Fine. And then a hurricane comes in, Lord Hari with the big cane. And all the shining and shimmering procession is drowned, and terrible situation occurs in the sky. And the sky has nothing to gain nor to lose. You are that sky. Seems like a big thing, but not so big thing. And that, to that stage of understanding, one has to promote with patience. In order to do so, bring bhakti in your heart. So, good things come, turn to God, His blessings. Negative things come, turn to God. He's giving you trial, tests. Go on loving Him and understand He loves you. So if the relationship is between mother and a baby, there is no contradiction. Live your life pleasantly with all your ups and downs and grow. The adversity allows you to feel the tender support of God. Prosperity also allows you the tender blessing of God. Both ways, if you come, there comes a stage, manonash takes place. Mind comes to that stage not to be shaken by likes and dislikes. A divine love becomes much more important than all these shaky joys. Then comes next stage, vasana kshaya. That goes on developing automatically. As mind goes on enjoying serenity, subconscious level, your desires that are always going after, holding on to negative impressions. Vasana, someone shouted at you, and time passed and you forgot about it. But you didn't forget it, you have kept it in your subconscious. You yourself don't know it. But there is a worm in the subconscious is keeping you agitated. So that's the predicament of the subconscious. You don't know it, but your subconscious is constantly keeping you in a stressful state. Same subconscious, when becomes purified, goes on nourishing you without your knowing it, in a positive way. So that's the difference between Ashubha Vasana, Shubha Vasana. Easily said, the process is with great patience, progressive. One has to be intent upon doing one's sadhana with abhyasa and vairagya, persistent effort, and letting go things that are hurtful for you. So that stage is called vasana kshaya. The negative vasanas move away. Positive vasanas that open the door to your higher level of devotion begin to develop. And if that happens, the third stage, your unconscious, that holds a kind of a veil of ignorance, that veil automatically drops off. If cloud has, think of a big cloud, first stage, very dark, you see nothing. Next stage, a little hole has entered the cloud and the rays are coming through the cloud. Vasana is getting purified. The clouds begin to shimmer. Next stage, the cloud is melting away. And even while it is melting away, it is enjoying it. It shines brighter and brighter. That's Avarana is moving away. Mala, Vikshepa and Avarana. These three stages your chitta has to go through in spiritual movement. For those who are not enlightened, they continue to depend upon mind and mind-based karmas. And as long as that dependence on mind exists, there is bondage. Next section deals with a deeper understanding of mind and many scriptural terms that relate to the mind. In other words, those terms, if you go on understanding it, you have deeper insight into what is the mind. And that we will leave it for next time. Om Trayambakam Yamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukuma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti 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 Om Namah Shivaya Hari Om.